welcome back to another episode of Here Are Two Cents. This is your girl, Cammie.
And Allie.
And today we have an episode treat for you. We have a special guest, and our title for this episode will be about Bleach. Now, Allie's going to give us a little brief introduction about our special guest, and then our special guest is going to introduce herself, and then we're going to get into the questions.
Our guest this week is Kara. She's currently teaching in South Korea. She has lived in Japan and also wrote a book and is a big fan of Bleach. One cool thing about her, she's wrote a novella called The Gilgamesh Cycle, and it is available on Amazon. So check it out. Please help us welcome our guest.
Thank you.
Kara.
Okay. I've always wanted to talk about Bleach with people who really liked it, but I didn't have anyone else to talk about it with, so all these little ideas have been in my head circulating for 15 years. So
we're ready to hear all of them.
Embrace yourself.
What episode was the turning point that made you know that this was your series?
There's so many episodes. I think probably the turning point where I had to make sure I stuck with the entire series was probably the second episode of Bleach, where Rukia gave Ichigo an ultimatum where she just gave him these powers, but he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything because that's kind of crazy. And she was basically like, if you are going to save this child in front of you, then you need to make sure you commit to your duty to save everyone. And then so he saves the kid, but then he's like, listen, I'm just going to do what I want because I'm not a butthead who is just going to let people die in front of me, but I'm not going to pledge anything. And I thought that was interesting for a hero to say. But also it's a huge theme in Bleach where it's one of the main cautionary tales that Kubo, the author, likes to really talk about is just loyalty is fantastic. Loyalty just, it's what you need to live. But it's in moderation. You can't just have loyalty for the sake of it either. There has to be reasons.
You can't have blind loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just loyalty for the sake of it. There has to be reasons behind it. And then I was like, ooh, interesting. So then I stuck with it for 15 years.
I watched that episode because I got to episode 3 of Bleach. Yeah, I got very far, guys. I'm still watching, but so far, that was definitely an episode I was like, okay, he has a point and she has a point, because he was just kind of am I going to be committed or just kind of halfway there? You can't be a part-timer in this game. And so it was interesting to see, okay, what's your response going to be to this challenge? Are you going to be committed or just be and just see the consequences unfold? So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, for me, it was episode 3, which was called, it was the older brother's wish, and it was about Orihime and her relationship with her brother. That was the episode that's still the deal for me. I was just like, yes, I have to continue to watch. Ichigo now is committed to being a Shinigami, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for you, Rukia, until you get your powers back, or however this thing is supposed to transpire. And I'm just going to take care of it as I go. I'm going to wing it.
But it also had that whole, is he a monster if he was turned into this? Do we still condemn him? Can he be turned back to the brother? There was that whole battle in that episode once he saw the face being revealed.
Yeah, I love that episode. That was it for me. So our second question, and my question to you would be, what was your expectation for the first episode of Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War?
Oh, man. When I heard that they're going to make a new season of Bleach after, the supposed, kind of cancellation of it, I was so excited. And I kept hearing all these details. They were getting, this, beast-level composer. They were getting, the guy that does the insane Naruto movie action scenes. They were getting the guy that did Attack on Titan to be the art director, and he has all these amazing beautiful ideas for the anime, and can just really take something out of a black and white manga and just build this crazy world around it. So every time I kept hearing details, I just like be like, oh man, like in my room.
Did the first episode meet your expectations?
Oh, I feel like went farther. I think that was great because not only did they keep all the best parts of like that chapter 2 in there, like all the humor, like they really fit it in the episode, or they had the pacing down pat, and it was so good because if you didn't start out with like the main characters, you started out with kind of like a new little introductory character who isn't like, he's not the best Shinigami, but he's like okay. But it was like a great parallel because it's like that he started the exact probably power level that Ichigo was in the beginning of the series. So it's like from his perspective, you just see like how different the main characters are because it's been years they've been training their skills and honing it. So it was a nice parallel. You can just really like get reminded of everything that you thought was awesome about Bleach within the first 5 minutes.
That's awesome. I felt the same way too. I didn't read the manga, but from where we were coming from and that season where we never speak about, but I was very excited and I love the artwork. I love the storytelling. I love that they had the song from the trailer in there and I was just excited.
That song fit so perfectly in that scene, in that fighting scene. I was like, it's getting me hyped for battle. I need to like get my sword. Where do I need to go?
Do some push-ups, like.
Yeah, like I just that was just perfect timing. Like whoever was like, you know what, let's insert it here, let's slow it down. Like it was just really well done.
Yep, continuity did their job.
Well, in the beginning of Bleach, when Kubo was first doing the manga, there was a lot more kind of urban settings in the background. Like you see the townhouses, you see the wires from telephone poles. Like you see, like even like the first scene, Ruki is standing on top of a transformer on like one of those telephone poles, and then he kind of drifted away from that in his backgrounds in the manga because he really wanted to make them simple enough that the anime wouldn't skip any important scenes if it'd be too expensive. So the fact that they brought all the details of settings of like the setting and background back, and not only that, but like made the characters interact with it. Like you have crows digging for trash. You have like a guy taking a break on top of a suspension bridge. That was a cool use of characterization that I was like, yes, that's so awesome to bring them back where it all started, but show it something different.
I agree.
Now, you have read the manga, right?
Yep.
So what are the differences between the manga and the original anime of Bleach? Obviously, we only have one episode of the new season, but what's the differences that you can share?
I think two major differences is that Kubo, like, so pacing in anime is different than pacing in manga. In anime, it just, you can do some scenes, you can do some pan shots, to lengthen or shorten something. But in a manga, it's way harder to do that. But Kubo is like this awesome master of purposeful pauses. Like he'll do like a panel where you have like, it's like a very long panel and you'll have a cutout of someone on the side of their face. So your eye has to track half that page, and then you see a character looking a certain way and they're making eye contact with another character on like the opposite end of the page. And so it's like in that you have like built into the structure of the page, like you have the pause of these two characters looking at each other with like an unspoken like conversation between them. And then Kubo just doesn't tell you what they were talking about with their eyeballs, and you have to go 10 books. And then they have like a little flashback to that moment being like, and that's when I knew. And
you're like, that was page 26. Oh,
yeah. And so pacing works so well for him. Like, he's only got like 20 pages a chapter, but he's just, pulls one out every single week. Or he did when he was making it. But another difference is that there's a lot of back histories and like interactions between characters that the earlier anime, the first season, really didn't put in specifically. Like when he and Orihime met, they met when they were like kids, where Orihime was actually carrying her dying brother on her back to his father's clinic. And then they randomly were in the same class together in high school. And then he's like telling Rukia, he's like, yeah, I didn't really realize that she was the same girl until recently. And so it's just like, whoa, background right there. So that's a whole interaction that has never been shown, like in the anime.
Why do you think that got cut out? Because that seems to be like a connection that you would want to show.
Yeah, they have like a lot of that in the first couple seasons with anything with Orihime. They like they have like a scene in the manga after his fight with Byakuya, like his eyes, like when they look at his eyes when he looks at her, when she just like is just thanking him for being okay, you know, he like looks at her really kindly and thankfully. And then, but in the anime, like they show his full face and they changed it. They changed him looking at her pityingly, and you're like, oh, why would they change that? Like, it's so minor, but it's like, oh, you know, I don't know. I think they were just like trying to push characters in one direction.
I don't like when they do stuff like that. That kind of happened with what was that anime? A Full Metal Alchemist. They like went into like a whole different direction for the first anime, and then the second anime, Blood, I think it's Brotherhood, it was like more towards the manga, and everybody was like, my God, why didn't you guys do that from the beginning? Like, what was this?
I know, yeah.
So I wish they did show that. Like I said, I didn't read the manga. I had no interest in reading it. I wanted to watch everything. So there's some animes that I'm like, I gotta read the manga. I need to see the other details that were not shown in the anime. But Bleach is not one of them. I'm sorry. In the entire arc of Bleach, what is your favorite episode thus far?
In the whole series?
In the whole entire series.
Oh, I think I remember the number. I want to say it's episode 166, but I don't remember why.
Let's see. What is episode 166?
Let me research this.
We're going to research. Please hold while your party is researching.
Bleach, episode 166. Yes! Okay.
It's right?
Yeah. I can't believe I got it right.
What made it your favorite? I mean, you didn't you remember the number, so that's very impressive.
Yeah. It's season 8, episode 15, episode 166. It's Desperate Effort versus Desperate Effort. Hollow-fied Go.
So, this is the fight in front of Orihime.
Yes. So they called in some contractor animator for 165, 166, maybe 167. I don't remember. And they were like, oh, we just need you to just like go ham and we'll give you like this amazing budget. And this guy was like, okay. And it was like the best animated fight that they really had besides a lot of these movies. And really until really the end of the season where you have Shuhei was the character where they really beefed up the animation for the fight scene suddenly, because it was just really pivotal, and it was just a really pivotal moment in the series for like all these different characters, like 4 different characters. They just like had like these crazy interactions and realizations throughout this fight, and it was, you know, Ichigo's last fight with Grimmjow. And it was.
I'm sorry, that episode I cried because like when he dies, I'm just like,
yeah.
Did you just really die like that? Did Ichigo just said like I have to like I can't get hurt anymore? Like what?
Yeah.
I was like that was one of those bad guys that you felt sorry for because like he believed in what he was fighting for was the truth and he wanted to make a change, and so you didn't want to see him die. No, as much as you didn't like him, you loved him just as much.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, literally, he could have been Ichigo's brother, like, kind of situation.
Grimmjow?
In my opinion.
Grimmjow?
Yeah.
Yeah. They, I liked how they did the parallels of Ichigo and Grimmjow, because it was like, all these fight scenes, they have parallels between, like, the characters, where, like, they have so much in common, yet, like, are just so different. Where Ichigo's, like, his symbolism is basically, like, protection, and, like, his name literally means, like, one protector. But Grimmjow was, so all, like, the top level Rangpar, they had their own symbol, like their own symbology. Each one stood for a certain aspect of death, where Grimjow stood for destruction, and even Ichigo is like you're just like, I don't understand your point. You're just going to destroy everything until there's nothing left. Like, what's the point? Like, there's no point in that. Like, and even Grimjow doesn't have an answer, because it's like, I feel like with anyone that just destroys things, they just do it, but they don't know why. And like, it's always been like this like mind-boggling disconnection between people that have a sense to defend and take care of things versus those that just like destroy everything without caring.
I just think even though he didn't really have a reason, I think his main reason was just to do what he was meant to do.
Yeah.
It was his purpose.
Yeah.
So it was his purpose to destroy, to honestly do what Aizen wanted, because Aizen wanted to make his vision of the world.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, so since I'm one of your followers and my purpose is to destroy, I'm going to make everything a clean slate so you can build whatever you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even like Grimjow, where he had his own like little posse that was like following him. But even then they were like, we can't even keep up with you, so you should just eat us all. And so you can have our strength. And it's like, you never got what Grimjow felt about that. Yeah. Well, the Iran card.
He absorbed them.
Yeah. So hollows eat other hollows. They turn into like those little pointy guys, like, and then those little pointy guys eat each other. Forgot the name. And then you get like an Iran card that looks like humanoid, and then you get like, yeah, the Vasto lore that comes after that. Like,
yeah, it's a whole evolution. It's like Pokemon.
Yeah, but like darker.
But yeah, for me, you could tell that he felt remorse and he felt admiration and he felt pride at the same time. It was like a lot of emotion. Like he was just like, I love you guys, but I'll never say it. But I'm going to take your sacrifice and I'm going to carry your dreams along with mine and my purpose.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I think when he was like to the end of that battle, he like came to the realization like, I cannot win. And I'm also not only letting down myself and my leader, I'm letting down the people who followed me. Regardless of where I went, they trucked behind me painfully. So like they were there no matter what, even when I felt like I was not with anyone, like I felt alone within my despair, I still had those dudes behind me.
Yeah. And like, what do you do in a world where you don't love anyone? You don't have anyone. Then it's like, yeah, what is the point, you know?
Yeah, you don't have much to look forward to or think positively. It's just kind of like, well, that's it.
Yep.
My question for you, and Cammie, you can answer as well. What was your first impression of the episode? Like when you first saw this episode, what were your thoughts of like, I finished it, okay. Did you have to watch it again, or?
I'm gonna let our guest answer first.
Oh, sure. I've always wanted to get back into making anime music videos, and so every time when I was watching the episode, every single little thing, I'd be like, that would be cool. I could take this, I could take that, obviously with paying for the episode first. And it was, but yeah, it was like, in previous episodes of Bleach, you know, I would always kind of try to like change some colors or something, add more contrast, so it just colors pop out more. But everything was just so sharp, and it was just already so lit so like beautifully. I was like, there is zero things I can change without like, because it's already goddamn perfect.
Yeah, that was something when I first watched, I would just. Mind you, I did see the first like 2 or 3 episodes, and then I came into watching the new season. So my first impression was just like the animation. They definitely stepped up their game, and I know that there's been years, in between the first and now, but they really went into good detail, and it got me invested. Like the attacks look great, the movements look great, everything looked crisp and clear, and I was just like, okay. So my impression was they're going to put focus on the animation. Story-wise, my first impression was, oh, we're getting into it. Like, it's not like, oh, it's been 5 years and they have now gone to college and they are now seeing the world. And it's like, oh, no. Hollows here, hollows there. My first reaction to the scene where they were on the rooftop and was it Shino or is that the girl? That might be the girl, but the boy, he was coming up and he saw her in the hands of the hollow. I was like, this reminds me of Attack on Titans. Like, are they both gonna die immediately, like a really violent death, just out the gate of like this 10 minutes of watching this episode? Because that's what I thought. I was just like, oh, they're really going for it. There's no whole bards, but then they ended up, surviving. So
For me, going in, because again, I didn't read the manga, so like I had the expectation that they were going to show the original set humans from our world or the human world. I already had a feeling they were going to do that. I'm glad that they did the little introduction bars to like say like this is Ichigo, this is Chad, this is everyone. And they did show a few people from the Soul Society. Soul Society. Oh my God. During that portion, and I was very happy. Like they just went into it. It was no slow mo. Like it was just like we have something going on. These people are already like saying like I don't want peace, I want problems. Okay, you have 20 days to figure this out because we're coming back. Like I'm glad they went with that pace, and I really, really hope they do not slow down because a lot of animes they start off like really fast, and then like you get like 5 slow episodes, and you're just like, oh my God, can we just like pick up the pace again? So I really hope they don't slow down. For this episode, I had a feeling they were just going to go in there with the action because it only made sense to have some type of action scene. Regardless of how it was going to run, I'm glad they did it. I already knew, like, when they showed those two characters going to the human world and they were like, oh my goodness, there's so many hollow sightings and they're doing so much destruction. I already knew they were going to get murked. I knew it already. Like, I already saw it happen. And I was just like, okay, so when is Ichigo going to end up here? Like, is this kid going to almost die or he's going to, like, stop him from getting stabbed in the back? Because I already saw it happening. Like, you see this kid's gonna get stabbed in the back or he's gonna like get bitten halfway through. Something gonna happen to him. So I was like, is Ichigo gonna stop it or it's gonna happen and then they're gonna step in? And I'm glad they actually let him get hurt. And he's like, oh my God, I'm about to die. Damn, I didn't even get to do anything yet. I told her I was scared. Why did this guy leave us by herself? Like, you have to think about it. Like, how much experience did these two characters have for them to just be like, okay, bye. We're going to leave you here. Just the two of you. There's somebody else here. You know, you'll find him later. Like, no introduction, like the name of the person, what he looks like, no nothing. Like, they have pictures of these people. It's not like we don't have cameras or they have cell phones for God's sake. So they could have just gave them like, this is Ichigo. This is this person. This is Uri. Like, give them information. Like, there's information to be had. The Soul Society have all their telephone numbers. Like, they could have gave that to them. They just like, you got this. In the middle of the night, you got this. Don't worry. You got this. Like, what? It's like McDonald's. It's like you train somebody for one day and leave them on a night shift by themselves on a weekend. New people who don't know really how to do anything, no managers on the night shift on a Saturday night when people are coming back from the club. Like, what are you doing? You just want the place to burn down.
Yeah.
So I literally feel like they just left them to die because that was not how you do it. You leave two new rookies by themselves with no captain, no co-captain, nobody.
They did.
Like, that's not how you do work. That's not how they did it during the other seasons. I'm sorry. There was always a captain with you. There was always somebody. You don't go out there by yourself. No rookies never went on the street by themselves. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. Like, if it was in another series arc, somebody need to show it to me because I don't remember. I always remember there was a captain. Like, Rukia, she went by herself, but she had experience. She wasn't stupid. It was Ichigo's fault that happened, that she lost her powers. I'm going to say it that way. Okay? It wasn't her fault. It was Ichigo's fault. She had experience. She knew what she was doing. Okay? Her big brother, my husband, he taught her well. Okay?
Yeah.
That right there, I don't know what they were thinking to let these two go by themselves with no other, like, leadership with them. But that wasn't right at all. Yeah. You left them to die. I'm sorry.
And like, there's no point in being like, oh, we'll just split up. Like, okay, you're like patrolling together. Like, that's how patrols work. Like, also in the first like scene, you see a guy like crack like a little hollow bait. So like, and then he just like disappears. So like normally there'd be a normal amount of hollows, but in that scene, like that's the same little hollow bait that Uryu used like way back in the series. So Soul Reapers don't really have the capability to detect bait. They just detect hollows. So it's him like doing that because I read the manga. I was like, oh no, a lot of hollows about to come. So.
Yeah, it's a summon. It's like it's pretty much like
catnip.
Yeah, catnip for hollows.
Okay.
They're gonna come everywhere. And it's not even going to attract like, weak ones. It's going to attract really strong ones.
Oh, okay.
So normally those two could have handled like a weaker one or a normal level one, but those weren't normal. That they were that was in that vicinity. They weren't normal at all. Those were not meant for rookies. And whoever was sitting there watching the camera, watching the detector, should have saw that and be like, "Yo, we need a captain. Can we get a captain? Where were all these people? Nobody was doing their job." I'm just upset at that part. I'm like, so nobody saw this? Nobody's watching this. No one's doing their job. Like, we have a whole control center. Where were the people?
Bureaucracy.
And see, this is why Ichigo and the crew was there. They already knew what was happening, okay? They were on the scene. Or the Hime, like, healed everybody like she always do. It's our resident healer. Chad comes through with the punches.
Punch like he's One Punch Man.
Pretty much, Ichigo's like Sailor Moon. Gotta put in the last attack. He is. Because, like, literally, like, if you literally look at the Sailor Scout dynamic, that's how this crew is. Ichigo is Sailor Moon. Orihime is pretty much Mercury. Chad is literally Jupiter. Venus is literally, oh my god, what is the other guy? Well, actually, I don't think we have a Venus. I guess Orihime, no, Rukia would be Venus. Oh my god, the Quincy, what is his name?
Ryu.
The one with glasses.
Yes, the one that you like. He's literally Sailor Mars. Literally Sailor Mars.
Didn't you give Mars to someone else?
No. He's literally the epitome of Sailor Mars. Yeah. Because Sailor Mars and Sailor Moon was always fighting, and him and Ichigo are always fighting.
But I feel like it's that friendly, like, brotherly fight. But then again, I haven't watched the whole series. But from that first episode, it's just like someone that, like, knows they get under your skin, but does it because it's their way of saying, I care about you.
Yeah.
It is.
So similar. Yeah. They just keep fighting because they're just the exact same person. Like, it's like, why are you doing this? You know why. My favorite.
But my favorite scene in that whole episode is when they're inside of Ichigo's room eating bread, and he's like, "You never told me your name." And a lot of people are like, so who is he talking to? He's talking to the guy who's standing in the window or the guy who's on the bed. And in my opinion, he's talking to the guy on the bed, because the guy in the window, he's not going to ask him his name. He's not going to say, well, by the way, you never told me your name. He was, in my opinion, I don't think he was talking to the guy in the window, because he was having a whole conversation with everybody else in that room.
Yeah.
And this man just walks in and he's just like, well, my name is, ain't nobody talking to you. Who are you? And I felt like everyone sensed that person. That's why nobody was like, they didn't do the dramatic face. Who are you? No, everybody knew you was there, but we weren't talking to you. We're going to ignore you until you say a little speech, because we all been through this. Okay. We have 15 years of this. Okay. We have experience. I mean, for us, I don't know what year it is for them, because they still look like they're in high school.
I think it's 17.
I want to know, did they get the diploma yet? Like,
they're seniors. They're seniors at this point, so they're almost there.
So wait, during the Aizen Sea arc, weren't they still in high school? Weren't they seniors then?
Yeah, so they were freshmen in like the original part of the series, and then you had the time skip after the Aizen stuff situation. And then you have them there in like their senior year at that point. So now they're still in their senior year.
So in that how much time has passed between that arc that we don't like until now?
I forgot what season it was in that arc. I forgot what season it was in the Fullbring arc. But considering there's just no snow, I'm just going to guess it's either spring, summer, or fall right now. So if it gets to winter, they're getting to the end of their little high school career right there. So I'm going to say they're probably another 6 more months of high school before they're like, bye.
I love how you go across the screen.
That's just gonna be the clip right there too.
But it's literally, you know what? I feel like Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho, they're like on the same timeline in like their career. Like they had no peace. There was never a moment of peace. It's not like Dragon Ball Z. Well, we've had peace for like the last 2 years. Here comes a villain. No, it's been no peace. They have been nonstop in school, their little side jobs, personal life, family life, and Soul Society life. Because even when Ichigo lost his powers, his friends were still fighting.
Yeah, it's true.
So he's the only one who kind of technically got a break. But literally, how long was that break? Like a couple months?
I feel like that was at least a year for him, right? So he was 15 in the summer that they went to go save Rukia. And then they were preparing for the supposed winter war with the Arrancar in that fall. And so then it was in that fall that everything happened. Like, it's only the space of, like, no more than a week. The, like, half of the entire series is, like, half the series is, like, 7 days. But there's, like, a bazillion characters. So it's, like, meanwhile, like...
Wait.
Later.
So let me get this straight. This man, we started off with him when he's 16. At this point in time, he's supposedly 17 years old.
15.
He was 15.
And then,
yeah, when we started off, he was 15.
And then when he was in the gargantuan little time lapse, he aged a bunch because he was in there. But then he like aged back to his like original age or something for some strange...
when he came out somehow.
Yeah, and then so he's back where he was in the fall of his freshman year. And then it fast forwards 2 years because high school in Japan is only 3 years. So he's technically in 10th grade in freshman year in Japanese high school. And then he's a senior in Japanese high school. So
So
10th grade
you're telling me
grade.
So you're telling me about 26 seasons later, this man is 17 years old.
He is Ash Ketchum.
That is true.
I can't deal.
Feel like Ash never ages.
Yeah.
His voice changes, but his body never ages.
Hi, Ash.
How old are you? Oh, I'm only 16. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's crazy. So 26 seasons later, we got a 17-year-old. And he was 15 when we started. He didn't even look like a 15-year-old. This man looked like he was grown.
Yeah. He was doing a lot of walking, honestly. Like, he's always...
The only person I can tell... sorry, say that again?
I'm just making up a theory. He just does so much walking. He has a six-pack at, like, 15, like, as you do. Like... Automatic.
The only person I've seen growth, I mean, like, is Orihime. Like, her boobs were already big, but now they're super big. So I can tell that she's aged, but not... You telling me she was 15 with that rack?
Some people have a situation, like, and...
No, I know. My cousin was like that. I've had a few friends. But Zia Zapetis.
What?
Her back must hurt. No, I was like, Zia Zapetis, her back must hurt. She's like... Yeah. No, you got it. Allie, you never saw her. Well, actually you did. You got to episode 3.
No, yeah,
and you saw this new episode. Like, there is like memes about her like side by side, and you're just like, in my mind, I'm thinking they're already out of high school. I'm thinking they're like starting their first or second year of college. And you're telling me they're still... And I saw their outfits, and I was like, wait, isn't those still high school outfits? Like, how much time has not passed?
Free time outfits.
Which, living in Korea, I found out that, at least with my school, the uniforms change depending on the season.
Yes.
I did not realize that. So right now my kids are going through their fall outfit, which is a brown vest, a white long sleeve. The girls either wear the skirt. Most of the girls wear the skirt, but some have the pants as well. And then boys just wear the pants and they walk around or whatever. And that's very different from their summertime outfit, which is a blue shirt with like a checkered pattern. Yeah. And they have blue slacks. So it's very interesting that the outfits do change in actual real life. Yeah.
And
I wasn't expecting it.
Freshmen, and then every like upperclassman each year, they'll have a different color insignia, like maybe on a bow tie be a different color, or something on their shoes that signifies a different color.
What
So like
grade?
they have that whole senpai kohai whole thing down. They just know exactly what to say.
Yes, I've seen that in certain animes that they actually do show that like they get a different uniform color, or they get a new brooch or something like that. So I've seen that in certain animes.
My kids in Japan were always just like whining because like it would be October and they'd like be there like their little short sleeves, like summer outfits. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm so cold," and I'd be like, "Wear your winter outfit." They're like, "No, we're not allowed to yet. It's not the day that we all changed." And I'm like,
Ah,
yo, like
Oh no,
yeah,
that
or they were like
sucks.
sweltering in like May and like one of those little May hot days, and they're like not allowed to change out of their like winter uniform yet, so they got to push their little sleeves up, and like try to fan them down. Like even in the winter, like a
wow.
lot of kids so they would go to school with a massive the style was a massive scarf and no jacket because high schoolers in America and Japan are the exact same people. They're just like, I don't want to wear a jacket. You can't make me like, and and like all the teachers hated it. They're like, wear a jacket. They're like, no, it's not cool. So what they would do, they'd line their uniform with like a zillion little hot packets, so they'd be all warm. Like
I was about to say, with the hot
What?
pockets was
yeah,
like
like
padded in there.
the little sticky hot packs. That
Yeah,
like skin, and I'd be like, how are you not burning your skin off right now?
that's
That's too
bananas.
funny. I mean, I never lived in Japan, but in Korea, I noticed that my kids right now they're in the mixed summer and summer outfit, summer and fall. But then like they come in with like blankets ready to go. Like the girls
Oh
especially,
yeah.
they have the really soft blankets. They come into class, say English class, and they're like, "Hi, teacher." I'm like, "Hey." I'm like, "Are you cold?" They're like, "Yes."
Bless their souls. So my final question to you, my dear, is if you met someone who's never watched Bleach, how would you describe to them the awesomeness that is Bleach? And how would you pitch the series to them to make them want to watch it?
I feel like the whole series is just so encompassing of so many different things. I feel like I would just say how cool the first season was so that I can get them like hooked like on, you know, on that first one. And then once they're hooked, then it'll just carry them. So I guess I would just describe it as like obviously Ichigo is a substitute soul reaper who accidentally took took someone's powers, and so now he has to fight monsters in order to protect people. And then I would just say it's like awesome fighting. It's like so deep emotionally, like the emotional intelligence that this author has is just so evident in every single chapter, every single episode of Bleach. It always have such crazy depth and unexpected character twists that it always just like every single thing just keeps you engaged because you just don't know what's going on ever. Kind of a bad explanation, but I don't know. All I
That was
got,
pretty good.
all I got off the
Yeah.
top of my head.
My last question is a really simple one. What, or I'm sorry, who is your favorite villain, and who is your favorite hero or anti-hero, and why?
Oh man.
You gotta pick one and one.
My favorite is Ulquiorra because I loved his arc. So cool. He is one of the top 10 Arrancar that work for Aizen. You think he is you think he's like one of the kind of top dogs in the whole place, and even Ichigo is like considers him like so strong, like that he's just like, oh, once I beat you, then just Aizen's next. But he finds out like in like the worst possible way, like that not only is he not one of the top people at all, like he's like a mid-range person. So it's like a huge turning point for Ichigo realizing like the severity of like how nuts of a situation that he and his friends are all in, because obviously over their heads. But I really liked Ulquiorra's path as a character as well, where it's like one of those like the difference between the bad guys and the good guys is that the good guys really have more of an awareness of their flaws, and even though at both sides have painful histories, like the good guys, they really try to like work with their painful history, but the bad guys, they do things without knowing why, like because hollows, like they eat people not because they're hungry, but because they just try to fill the emptiness inside them. And the wrong car even carry that with them. They're doing things, no idea why they're doing them. They're just doing them. Like they have no idea why. Like they have patterns that they don't even recognize as patterns, even if people around them recognize them pretty easily. Like Ulquiorra, when he would kill people, he kills them through the heart. And he didn't realize he was doing that. It was just something he was just doing because he instinctively never, as he was explaining to Orihime, he doesn't really like believe in a heart. He doesn't believe in emotions. He believes that everything is meaningless and that there's no point to anything. And he doesn't understand why people think that there is if there's no clear-cut evidence that there is meaning. And it's like, even like protecting people, it's like obviously everyone dies. So what's the point of protecting people? Because everyone dies. There is no meaning to it. But it's like the whole point of Ichigo and Ulquiorra and Orihime, it's like there is meaning to defending people. There is meaning to creating life. There is meaning to like finding enjoyment in life, which is something that I can't say whether or not he learns or not. So, but I will say that my one and only tattoo is Ulquiorra's number. Got that right when I turned 18. Came home from a weekend in Salem. My mother was like, "You look like a numbered prostitute." like too late now.
It's on there.
It's on there. They do the thing where they try to rub it off. Obviously, it's never going to come off. Like they're like, if I scrub harder, maybe it will.
No.
No. That's crazy.
But yeah. And that was a two-parter question, right?
Yeah, and then I think hero or anti-hero.
Definitely Orihime and Ichigo. They're definitely tied. But I really liked Orihime's character arc in the second part of the series, especially because you think she's an airhead in the beginning of the series, but then you really realize how like,
and that's where I'm at.
yeah, it's like no one likes her in the beginning, but then it's like Kuba really develops her, and I was like, what is this character coming out of nowhere? She like you find it's like growing up in the rural like part of my state, it was like the only thing to do was watch anime, you know? And it was and I really liked her thing about loneliness, where she just wanted to be with her friends because that was like kind of like the source of her happiness. And you know, a lot of people will like they'll just say like, you know, oh, you shouldn't need to rely on people, you should just be fine by yourself. But no one's ever in a vacuum. People need people, you know? And so her
social creatures.
Yeah, and just her accepting kind of that part, and even the flaws that come with like, you know, dealing with people and having both positive and negative emotions, it's still okay. And just kind of having that need, recognizing the need to fix your loneliness where you can. And even if people say like you shouldn't be part of a group because some personality clashes, just to really accept yourself and to still like find ways you can still be part of the group, even if your personality isn't perfect. You can still develop your skills so that you can still be where you want to be. I was like, that's a cool message for teenagers. So
I agree. That's really well said. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really well said. Really well spoken.
Thanks.
And I don't think I can top that. I mean, it's only been 3 episodes, so I'm going to hold who's my favorite because I don't have a big pool to choose from at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, Aizen is my favorite villain out of the series, and everybody knows that from previous episodes. And for me, I don't have a favorite hero. I just like them all. I mean, like, even though everybody knows I love Bakia, but he's he's not really a hero and he's not really an anti-hero because like he almost killed his sister because he got orders to do it. And I'm just like, bro, you couldn't petition to keep her alive? You were just like, yeah, I'm gonna kill her. I'm just like, dude, what? And then like in the series, you've seen him go up against Ichigo so many times just to like prove a point. And I'm just like, bro, just let it go. Ichigo's broken. He has so much going on inside of him. You can't compete. Just stay in your beautiful lane. Okay? Just say Bankai every now and again just to make all of our hearts pitter patter, you know? Just make it so beautiful with the sakura trees and the destructive blades. Just do your job, you know? That's it. My favorite villain is actually the same person you mentioned. I just really, I can never pronounce his name. I just call him the melancholy hero, villain. The guy you just talked about.
Kiora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can never say his name. Love him so much. I was just like, no, is that the guy that had stole Orihime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad boy.
Okay. Can never say his name. I loved him so much. I was just like, I just wanted to hug him so bad. Just all I wanted to do was just to hug him and just let him know, like, it's okay. It's okay to be the way you are because no matter what we tell you, you're not going to understand. And I wish we had some backstory up to like, because I don't remember them going too far back for him. They just gave us like these solitude moments where he will just like stare off into space and kind of have like these thought processes and he would just stare at Orihime. Because I honestly feel like he was falling in love with her. But he didn't know he was falling in love with her. And I wish we had some type of story that actually showed us like, why were the Arankars? Like, where did they come from? Oh, go ahead.
I know this one. I know this one. All right, if you can't say his name, you can say Emo Bat because that's a great nickname. And but I forgot if this was a chapter in the main series or if it was like a chapter that Kubo wrote for one of his character books where I forget, like, I think Black Sun, or White Moon character books. I think he had it in those books where they had like Ulquiora's back history before he became an Arrancar, when he was just still like in Wako Mundo, like world, and he was just like this like kind of thing. His mask only had eyes. He didn't have a nose. He didn't have a mouth. I don't even think he could hear anything. I'm not sure. But he like was in like this pit where their captors would just like take hollows and just eat them when they needed to. And he was just there watching everyone around him die. So it was like his first memories were just like, everyone dies. That's it. And he was able to like get out of there. And it's just, he just would walk and like look at the world and just do nothing but like look at what he saw. So it was like only background was everyone dies and I can see things. And that was it. And that was just his two little things going forward until like Ethan somehow found him. I was like, hey, come here.
But what made him so powerful? Like, I wonder, like, to my thought process, like, were any of them human at one point in time? What happened to them? And what made them so powerful? Were they absorbing other creatures? Did he, like, give them something to, like, steal powers or something? Like Rogue?
Definitely used the, oh my goodness, what is it called? The little orb that was super powerful, that was inside Rukia, that made wishes come true. What was that?
I know what you're talking about. I remember seeing it. I just don't know what it's called.
Oh my goodness.
But he was using that on them?
That's how he changed them to like the Vasto, or that's how he was able to change them to like a more humanoid form and give them like kind of an extra upbeat power. I know that they were made from collections of hollows eating each other, but I think it was like a dominant personality maybe kind of rose to the top. So maybe it was like maybe there was a person that was like lost or something that came forward.
English crumbling orb.
What's it in Japanese?
Crumbling orb.
Wait, Hogyoku. Is it the Hogyoku?
Yeah.
Hogyoku! That's what it is! Okay.
There we go. So,
man, I loved him. I can't not love him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was just so, I don't know, like stray cat mode. I don't know. It's like that cat you want to save, but it keeps running away from you. And you know it needs to get its fleas and ticks to taken off, and it has scabies and all this other stuff. He was just like a stray cat to me. I loved that character. Just wanted to hug him so bad.
Aizen?
Make him know that you're loved, bro. Like, you're good.
If you want like a really good chapter to read about Aizen, when Aizen and Ichigo like meet in Karakura for like that first time before his dad kind of takes him away kind of for like some gargantuan training, there's an interaction where Aizen is like openly taunting Ichigo, and the anime didn't really do the chapter justice, but the chapter, like, it really shows how creepy Aizen is. Like, I was like, ooh, like every interaction, because he'd be far away, all of a sudden he's just like right up in your personal space, and he's like, I can touch your heart. I was like, oh, back off. Like, like,
oh my god, I love how you just shimmied across the street.
Like, but I was reading it like, oh god, like, you know, Americans don't have like, you know, like too far apart personal space, but I got some. Like, I just like, you know, oh, bye. Like,
but he has done that to multiple characters in the series, in the anime. Like, he'll just be like right on top of you, breathing on the back of your neck, and you just turn around, he's gone, and then you turn back around, he's in front of you, and then you just like, and then he smiles and just disappears. I'm like, he does like, I can't help but love him, man. He's so damn sexy.
Seems like he has a lot of mental.
Especially when he takes off his glasses. He's like Bruce Wayne mixed with Superman. Just like, you can't.
like
You can't. It's like
backwards.
if they had a kid.
And
I can't.
It was crazy because when he was a lieutenant, like, they were criticizing him for not dressing up his uniform a little bit extra. They were like, "What? You got no accessories or anything?" Like, and he's like, "No." But little did they know, his glasses and hairstyle were the accessories disguising his nature.
Exactly.
Oh,
Always had his face in the book. They just thought he was normal and such a bland person. You have no idea. The quiet ones always get you. Quiet ones.
Always the quiet ones.
He was plotting from day one. Soon as he woke up over there, he was like, you know what? I'm going to take everything down. But I got to get in.
If they have...
He had planned from day one.
They really did. If they have any kind of thing in this anime, I really hope they just show his childhood. I want to see a baby Aizen. Oh my god.
I need it.
They didn't have that any time. And I understand the ambiguity is like a really interesting thing, because it's like, you know, like these bad guys, you never really know where they're going to come from, but I want to know. So.
I'm really excited for this series. Like, this arc better be good. I'm excited to see these powers of these new bad guys. I feel like Aizen is going to make an appearance. I feel like he needs to make an appearance. Like, he needs to be in the series somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to do it.
Can't tell you.
They need to make him, and I need it not to be like a weird interaction. I need him to like really spit some knowledge or do something very important, and he just be like, okay, I'm gone again, like Sephiroth. Like, I'm just going to pop up
like Sephiroth.
And disappear. I'm like, y'all thought y'all could hold me? Ain't nobody could hold me. I made you think you were holding me. I was just here buying time, you know, because I knew what was coming. Like, I need him to pull one of those modes, like the Joker.
So
but anyways.
You said Sephiroth, now you're saying Joker. But
look,
very good company to be in.
You already know I love both of them. You already know I was going to compare him to them. I love both of those characters. They crazy. But yeah, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've always wanted to talk about Bleach with like-minded people.
Yeah. And we know that you do have your book that is out. So definitely on our page, we're going to show your book. But is there any social media that you would like to offer for people to follow you who are more interested in your contact or want to contact you directly? If you don't feel comfortable, it's okay.
I can say maybe I'm the worst when it comes to social media, but I think the book is just the best thing because it has an email address. You can contact me in there. If you want to, it's NO and then Halcyon at outlook.com. So that you can email
There
me
you
right
go.
there. Halcyon, like the Bleach chapter. Goodbye, Halcyon. Halcyon. So
Awesome. And then I know you talked earlier about your love of music videos with anime, and we're definitely going to show some because
course.
I've seen them, and guys, they're good.
Oh,
They are really,
thank
really good.
you. That's what happens when
And
you grow up with
I can't wait to
nothing
show
to do.
everyone because it was really well done. I was very entertained.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you again for tuning in. Can't wait for our future episodes. We're going to bring her back from when we get a few more episodes in to review for the rest of the series and to give our final thoughts on the new series, the new arc of Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War.
Maybe even about your time in Japan, because I know you
I
spent
got so
a
many
good
stories.
amount of time and a good amount of stories to tell. So
yeah, I got myself into nuts situations over and over again.
so we'll definitely talk to you about those as well.
All right. I'll have some social media by then, so should be good.
And that is all for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed. Please follow us on our podcast and subscribe and share your 2 cents as well. You can find us at here_our, the number 2, and cents. So that's here as an HEAR_our number 2 cents. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.